So I'm back with episode 3. Must be episode 4. I have no idea what episode we're on. So I'm back with episode 4 of According to the Governor. Again, I'm in my office, slightly different angle. You can see the walls behind me that aren't plastered. It's looking lovely. Don't let that fool you. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I know how to make a business work. I know how to make it successful. So don't let the plastered walls, I just can't plaster for shit. So don't let those fool you. Really hard one to know what to do episode 4 on today. I was going to do stuff around my news feed, just like the sheer volume, and I think that's probably where I'll go, but that led me on to talking more about businesses and business failure, and I've just watched the governor's announcement around the self-employed, so there's just so much stuff I could talk about, and literally I've gone for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to talk about my Facebook newsfeed, my LinkedIn newsfeed, definitely my Instagram, my Twitter, but certainly Facebook and Instagram. So those have been inundated with just noise over the last 4 days. It's just been so rammed. There's been people doing online fitness, loads of people doing online fitness. There's been loads of people doing different business ideas, different seminars, different training seminars, basically everybody looking to see how they can utilize the web and social media to access different people. Now, I think that's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I think it's a brilliant world that we live in, that we're now in that sort of generation. If you think back 15, 20 years ago, probably even 10 years ago, but certainly 20 years ago. So I'd have been 16, I'd have been working in a pub. I can remember it was around the sort of time that foot and mouth had hit, and places just went really quiet. And the internet just wasn't there. It was on dial-up, and very, very few places had it. And we just couldn't have done this in the same way. Mobile phones were text and snake, and that was kind of it. So I think it's fantastic that's there. But what it has done, and I've been watching loads of it, is it is absolutely driven everybody into that world, which means just news feeds are just filled with what I refer to as noise. Just loads and loads of stuff, just constant people. I mean, I can't tell you, my phone's obviously up there charging, but I can't tell you how many times Instagram ping me or Facebook ping me, say, hey, this person's gone live, that person's gone live, this person's gone live, that person's gone live. And you know, I do the same thing, but I do my videos constantly. I've probably upped it a little bit more. What's been interesting is to watch people with Joe Wicks, who does the PE in the mornings. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But he's been doing this because some people have gone, oh, he's come out of nowhere. Like, this is great. I should be able to do this. They don't realize he's been doing this for 4 years. There's a huge amount of work that he's put in behind the scenes for the last 4 years. That's built him to a platform. And if you watched my video yesterday, I talked very much about, in episode 3, I talked very much about how I don't believe in luck. What happens is you put yourself into a position to take advantage of the situations when they come along. So something's come along, in this instance, coronavirus has come along. Joe Wicks is here come my kids. Joe Wicks has seen the opportunity, and he's just continued to do what he's already doing. And because he's in a position, he's been able to seize that opportunity and take it. Whereas lots of other fitness people I know who are trying to get into his world aren't going to get there because they haven't put the grind in and the hard work for the last 4 years to be able to take advantage of opportunity. Hopefully that makes sense. And what that kind of brings me on to is the news is going to start, the noise that I'm seeing in there is going to start to dwindle, because I think what's going to happen is people are going to get to 5 or 6 days down the line and they're going to go, why don't I have 100,000 followers? Why don't I have 20,000 shares? Why don't I have 5,000 comments of people telling me how great this is or how it's changed their lives and all that kind of stuff? People are going to drop off really quickly because they're not going to get that instant interaction and that instant result and go, oh, this doesn't work. And they will drop off, and we'll see less noise on our news feeds. And a couple of days later, we'll see more people drop off and more people drop off and more people drop off. And I think probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, the only things that will be left will be the ones that are either being successful, the ones that already did it, like the Joe Wickses of this world, and will continue to do it, and will just grow, and they're fantastic. And I think they're the bread and butter, they're the foundation stone of this sort of world. And people that have got good at it over the 3 weeks, or found a niche and been able to really connect in with people, really offered value to people that want to see it. So I think those will be the three that survive, and it'll be very similar to looking at the business statistics. I'm going to go on to that at some point in a future episode about the amount of businesses that fail from those that start up, because that is a very similar statistic looking at the first few years, the first 5 years of failures and the reasons behind it. So I think there's some synergy in there, definitely. But yeah, that's it really for today. I think for me it's a bit of a whinge. It's about noise in my Facebook feed. It's about how I think that will quieten down over probably the next 4 or 5 days. I think coming into early part of next week we'll see that quieten down, and making sure that people understand that it is not luck. The people that are really succeeding at the moment in social media, really getting people following them and really engaging them, they're adding huge value, really, really good value. People are engaged with it and they're getting something from it. It's that value add. And they've probably been doing it for a long time. It's not something that just started yesterday or the day before and they're getting people following it. They've been doing this for 3-4 years and grinding. Opportunities come along and they're in a position to seize it. I think that's the key thing. So I'll do another episode probably tomorrow, and we'll roll more into some of the business stuff. I'm going to talk more about the impact of my business in the last week, specifically in my business, and what that's meant financially and what it means we're going to have to do and adapt going forward. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Send me comments, send me messages. If anyone's a plasterer, hit me up.